Hello
Hey,
and good evening, and welcome to
the truth
The truth
behind
behind
the
the
truth.
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 Woo.
Indeed, another great Saturday evening here with the
Yes.
best kept secrets
Woo.
in media,
Yes.
in this world of media. To believing, to telling you the truth about the truth. I
All
mean,
right.
we set the stage, we bring it to you, and we hope that it will affect you to the point to make some changes in your life if necessary. You may not feel it's necessary, but at least you know our perspective on what the truth is that could be for your life. You never want to tell anybody what to do, want to suggest, okay? Because telling them, like, I was like, who's that old wrinkled woman told the reporter to shut up the other day on the news part where she was asking, what's his name? Was he
Mike Johnson.
Mike Johnson about the
January
January 6th?
6th.
Yeah, and that old wrinkled woman said to the reporter, "You need to shut up." Well, really? That's her job, But anyway, I didn't mean to get off in Wrinkleville.
Already.
I know. Anyway, want to welcome all of our base media individuals, and we thank you so much for taking the time out to like and subscribe from our YouTube perspective, as well as our Facebook and our Twitter or X perspective as well. So thank you definitely for that. Want to remind you to get your mug. Everybody got their mug? There it is. Wave your mug. Sorry, Darnell. We'll get you. Okay. He's new to the cast, guys, so we haven't, gotten this mug yet. But you can get yours in between time. All right.
Yeah,
He will be willing to sacrifice yours for you to buy yours. Okay.
absolutely.
So, you can get your mug definitely for just a little for free shipping. Okay, it's $15.99. Send an email to ttbttshow@gmail. Put your request in, and then we'll communicate via email with you on how to obtain that. All right. The other great thing is now, if you don't want to buy one, guess what? You can be a part of the mug contest, okay, that we have going on. Send us 10 likes and shares to wherever you are on your social media base. We'll verify them. Once they verify, we will send you a mug complimentary. So it's two ways you can get it: free mug, pay mug. It's up to you. But somebody, you got to get a mug, whether it's free or whether it's paid for. Get a mug, all right? And I want to remind you about the holiday season, holiday gifts. Telling your family members the truth is behind the truth. Whatever that conversation may be. Lastly, want to remind you, as your contribution support, all right? We do have a platform for you to do that as well. On our Cash App, you can contribute to us at TTBTT Show. On Venmo, you can contribute at The Truth Behind the Truth. All right? Hey, we need you guys. This is what we're trying to tell you in a nice way. All right? Anyway, so we can dig in and see how the night is going and whatever, with all the wonderful cast. Darnell, how you doing?
I'm wonderful. I can't complain. It's been a great week.
Good.
What about you guys?
Care to share any hot buttons that spark people to do something different about their life?
Well, I wouldn't say hot buttons. It's just been, I don't know. I think for me, it's just the news has just been all over the place, all the way across across the board. You get you just have to just take whatever you need out of it and keep moving.
Got you. So hey, what is it? I don't eat steak, but a steak, you eat the meat and throw away the bones, or the bone good, suck on it, whatever. Whatever.
However,
Yeah, however it be. All right. Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, good interpretation. Sandy, how were you, sir?
I'm good. Just getting ready to head back east, see my son.
Okay.
Do a show with my wife. We'll be in Connecticut. And big change in the weather. Apparently, I'm going to need socks.
Yeah,
and thermal.
Yes, you probably will need socks. Indeed. Okay.
Yeah, and long johns.
So when is your performance in Connecticut?
Yes. Next Saturday. Why I won't be here. Next Saturday, November 11th, we will be in Connecticut, and my wife's got a new Christmas CD out with 7 tracks on it. One of her father's, Sunday at Christmas, which last year was put out by Lizzo, but my wife has done her imagination of it, and then she's got 6 original songs, all original Christmas music. LisaDawnMiller.com, DAWN Miller.com, and terrific music.
Can you send me an excerpt of a small project? I would love to do a commercial for her, but we can talk about it. I don't want to get into that, but we'll talk about that off Showtime. But yeah, I want to put something together for her to support that. But
the only way we could do that is if we get another free mug.
Okay.
I can't.
Gotcha. All right. How are you doing?
I'm feeling good.
Good.
I'm feeling really good.
So you had an exciting week, huh?
Oh, yes. it was a very. Let's just say it was a unique situation this past week.
All right, just unique.
It was very unique.
Okay.
It was really out of everything that I thought I was going to be doing. I mean, I was, I've been doing everything, y'all. So I'm kind of a little bit out of whack, but I'm present. Mm-hmm. I'm present, but it's just, starting a new job. You have to start auditioning all over again, and then learning, and also, making mistakes, but you got to keep doing what you got to do. But on that though, I'm really good. Good. How about yourself?
Oh, it's been an interesting week. I might as well say. I mean, just a lot of in my world, of sales is that it's moment by moment. I mean, I have to look at it moment by moment. But the great part about it is that I do get to meet interesting people, and people that I put in my arsenal as far as information and things like that, and people that I have helped long, and Darnell knows this, a lot of people. You know what I mean? And in the process. So I'm grateful for that position. People have stepped unannounced and unknowingly stepping, I'll say, in my presence, and things happen.
I'm going to ask you a question since you are almost towards the end of your, what's going on. I got to ask you this question because you always get into a talking point. I'm going to ask y'all this question too about this subject matter. What is the importance of separation of church and state in the U.S.? Why is it so important to have separation of church and state? Anybody can ask that question.
I mean, I can, but I want to hear from the guys first. I'll wrap up.
Why is it so important?
Andy, I'll let you go first.
No, Darnell, I'll let you go first.
Because I've been really asking myself this question all this past week, and I know you're gonna have something to say, but I just want to ask y'all, why is it so important for us in this country to have this separation of church and state?
Go ahead, Darnell.
I think it just my just the short answer of it all. I think it's just because people are so fickle, and it's a very touchy topic when it comes down to people. So they rather dance around everything to keep from having to feel like, oh, I'm stepping on this person's toes. I don't know what their beliefs is. So to keep from a confrontation, let's just go. Let's talk about something else. I think that's just my personal opinion.
I hear that.
Okay. All right, Sandy.
All right. Well, separation of church and state goes back to the original why we came over here and developed. America was discovered, and why we became independent of England, because England was all church and state combined. So you believe what the monarchy tells you. And that's it. And everybody said, well, I don't want to believe what you believe, and I don't want that to make my political decisions for me. So I'm going to go to America where I can believe what I want. And so when we came here and set up the laws, it was a division of church and state. So the politics are the politics, and the religion are the religion, and we're trying to keep them separated. But yet the religious right wants to bring that into politics. This new guy, Mike, what's his name? Mike Johnson. Dickhead. I'm sorry. Did I say that wrong? And look, you got to call him what he is. This guy is, when they're uncovering the things about him, he'd like to be the pastor that's leading us all down the primrose path and take us over to Africa and give us the Kool-Aid. Kill us all, so he's in charge of everything. So it's a terrible thing, and the division of church and state, Dylan, has to do with the inception of this country and how we did not want them to bleed together. We wanted them separated.
What about you?
You want me to rap? Or you want?
No. Go ahead. Because I know you have.
I mean, all points.
But that was good, Sandy. That was really good. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm waiting on you.
So. My thing is, I agree with everything that you guys have said, especially, from the historical standpoint of view, Sandy, which it is very true, in nature. The one thing that I think we framed ourselves on the show is to educate people, okay? And unknowledge people are now that I've said now, what do we call them? The Jim Jones syndrome, okay? That's my new saying now, the Jim Jones syndrome. So whether you are in the Kool-Aid or out or drinking or going to the faucet to get more, whatever. So, the thing about it is with separation of church and state, number one is that it's simple. We are under a democracy, not a theocracy. Okay. So then what happens if you're in a theocracy, then you have theological opinions to how to frame how people should live. Okay. Oh, shoot, I got 2 minutes. Okay. If I got 3 minutes to say this all. So that is a problem. Number one. Okay. Let's look at it from a religious perspective or a religion practice origin. Let's just use Christianity for example. Christianity in its inception has almost 39,000 interpretations of the scriptures. 39,000. Okay, so that's as much time as Trump lied when he was in office. Okay, so he was probably mixing church and state, so therefore he came in with those 39 different lies. But to a real point, so therefore, so how can you say that an organization that has 39,000 interpretations of even just one scripture that they can't see in light of? So how can you say that you're going to frame a country, based upon that idea? So that's food for thought. So if you don't believe what I'm saying, get your book and do your math, do your research, and find out that there is 39,000 if you care to know. Okay, so that's one problem. Okay, by itself. All right. So how can you cannot agree on the scriptural perspective of how a person should live their life. Okay, this is where we got the person LGBTQ problem. It's not a problem, but you create a problem. You got a problem with the abortion situation because you make it a problem where it's not a problem. Choice is choice. Okay, your choice may not be my choice may not be your choice. It becomes a problem for you, but not a problem for me. But what you want to make my problem, make my comfortableness should be your problem. All right. Let's go to break because I'll get back.
But we're going to expand on this because I got a lot to say about it.
Okay. Let's get ready for a break. We'll pick this topic up and go when we come back from break in a minute, guys. We'll see you just a second. All right, and we are back, guys. Once again, thank you so much for tuning into The Truth Behind the Truth. I will remind you of your responsibility to us in a very, very short minute, but I do want to welcome our engineer, our tech, our back behind the scenes gentleman, the best kept secret that Atlanta is helping out to to get involved in life. So he will be chiming in with us tonight. Dr. Charles McIntosh. This man got a lot of wisdom too. So we're gonna be coming at you in a little bit. But anyway, let me finish my point so you guys can go on. So but it makes sense. So I'm gonna move, if you guys remembered what I said before we went to break, okay. We cannot equate religion and these type of behaviors into how you want to govern a society. Now you can govern your personal self by that religion because that's your choice. All right, but that choice and that freedom has to be in place for a group of people that we are, because theologically, the U.S. would be a mess if you expected people to follow your theological opinion. The reason I say that is because we got this man now that Sandy mentioned that's ahead of Congress right now that thinks that everybody should have sex in the missionary position. Okay.
But you know what, to add on, but no, I'm sorry. No, go ahead. My point
go
for that, finish because I got a lot to say. Go ahead and finish.
My point for saying that is that because his position is going to be to organize and keep you in a specific spot. So here's the same thing that Sandy equated. I did a far-fetched example, but it's not too far-fetched in his thinking. So that's the same position that the Church of England wanted to do. It wanted to tell its citizens how to perform their life, okay, and in their quiet space. So this guy now had this interview. I'm gonna run to that real quick. I got shut up. Had his wife on.
Because you now taking up half of the segment. Finish, please. Finish.
He had his wife sitting next to him the other day, And I literally, and I'm gonna leave it at this. You guys can you take it. I thought I was looking at the Stepford Wife. Literally. You know, if you hadn't seen the Stepford Wives, the movie, then you need to go back and understand what I'm talking about.
She probably was a robot.
Huh?
She probably was a robot. You know, they're heavy on this, big on this cloning thing.
She was this primed and proper, and she was, you know, articulating everything she done when she would not adjust the movements with him, and he's this and he's that. And I'm like, okay.
You're a robot.
So I guess you guys have to ask each other when it's time to have an orgasm. Okay, go ahead.
Now you see why I call him the Gemini. Talks entirely too much and don't even finish. Well, let me just say it. I'm gonna call it what it is. No government should have any type of preferential.
Right.
You know, I'm just saying, no religion should have that type of preferential treatment from a government.
Right.
I'm watching and I'm seeing from what I'm seeing from this new speaker, Mike Johnson. Who's ever, you know. I'm just saying, I'm going to repeat myself.
Okay.
Mike Johnson, you know, the fact that his wife got on one of those interviews on Fox and said that the God appointed my husband to be the Speaker of the House. That's very problematic to me.
Right. Very problematic.
And that would be problematic to anybody of any religion to hear somebody who is now the second in command to make laws and to do things where to say that, to hear that type of rhetoric, that's very problematic.
Right.
That's all I got to say about it. It's very problematic. But Charles, what do you have to say about this?
You know, I'm pretty much, Sandy said it best. You know, this is an experiment. This whole country is based on an experiment. Nobody does it like this. It's still in the learning stages, if you want to be honest about it.
Wow.
That's why right now we're facing such a tumultuous time with this power struggle, this power dynamic between the far right, the right, and the Christian right. It's because everybody wants to have their say, but if only one person is running the country under one religion, it makes it difficult. We're pretty much just like Iran and some of the other countries. Well, you know, where the religion runs cold. We always talk smack about them, but yet we're about to do the same thing that they're doing, and we shut them for it. I think that we all, because of all of us under a different, I guess you would say, personal guides, as far as your beliefs and your faith, is why we should keep that separate from state.
Right.
We should do what's best for all of us versus just one religion controls it all, or you can't say nothing because you're not this religion. There has to be some religious freedom in there. And until we can actually understand and respect each other's beliefs, we're going to have a problem.
Hold on, Charles. Hey, Darnell, I think you might need to mute.
Something in the background.
Okay. I think somebody needs to mute.
Oh.
In the background.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Get pulled into this, my religion is better than your religion thing, because we all have faith and we all have a belief system. So that was the purpose of this country, as Sandy said, was to have our own religious beliefs and still live our lives in harmony with other people.
Right.
Well, until we can get that understanding that we have to respect each other's religion, we're headed for a steep fall, a very steep fall. And I think America would go down the drain if they lose that separation of church and state.
Right.
Well, we have a growing Christian fascist movement, which we already know is the evangelicals.
Right.
But it's just the fact. The fact is, when I hear people still bringing up this rhetoric of prayers in the school, you know, of the fact that we need to put the 10 Commandments back into the state houses, and you know, and all this jazz, it makes me still think that there still is this religious push to this agenda to still come through and railroad everybody else's livelihoods and freedoms. Right. You have people who are talking about Sharia law. Now we know in certain Muslim countries there are such things as Sharia law. Right. But that won't ever come over here. It will never come over here. Now we have for many years have had Christian people impose their views on certain ideas of life, like abortions, gay marriage, or marriage, or you talked about sex. You talked about even now down to the fact that they want this type of propaganda into the school books. Right. Is this going to take us to really open our eyes to the fact that you have people who really are trying to really take control?
I think it's more of a control issue.
Total control.
That's where Purnell.
Mm-hmm.
Hi. Good to see y'all. Sorry I'm late.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. It was a mad rush for getting through the traffic, but
okay.
But I'm listening with this conversation. It's funny because these same people that want to impose their own Christian or religious beliefs, but they also hold up about, oh, our founding fathers this, not founding fathers that. And so, well, our founding fathers did not want there to be a national religion. That was the whole point. They had just escaped governments where the church ruled over civic laws. So they specifically is like going, nope, we're not doing this here. We're freedom of religion. You can believe whatever you want to believe, or you can not believe in any particular thing. But also since that time, there have always been a segment who wanted to enshrine their religious beliefs as what we all have to believe. I'm like, well, you missed the point of what we just freed ourselves from.
Right.
Trying to get in is like, and my whole thing is like, you can believe whatever the hell you want to believe. I don't have to believe it. That's the part that's supposed to be the freedom of this country, is that we can believe whatever we want to. Like, there are people who are homophobic, whatever, fine. They don't have to like gay people. That's fine. They are free to do that. However, that freedom stops when they try to tell me how I have to live according to them. As the shirt says, it's not my job to make you comfortable with my life.
Exactly.
So you can disagree with that, but you don't have a right to tell me where I can live, how I can live, where I can work. That's, or who I can marry. That's like, then it's not about what my freedom is. It's about what you're comfortable with. And that's not what this country is supposed to be about.
Exactly. This kind of rolls into the situation where this big issue, and maybe we can talk about this just briefly, is the freedom of speech. Okay. That has just, in my opinion, has been blown out of the water completely, at the end of the day. All right. Freedom of speech was only basically set into place. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but it was only set into place in the court of law, that law or that judge or that situation. It came from Parliament. Okay. Parliament, you could not be able to go in and state your case back in England. Okay. Whatever they said about you was it. You could not say, so they would shut you down and convict you or whatever the case was, and keep it moving. That particular law was almost tried to get in place when it came to the Americans, but they said, no, we're not going to allow that in the court of law. You cannot shut us down. I have the freedom, as we've been talking about, to say what I need to defend myself. Now, this particular quote unquote in the Constitution has been taken so many ways. People think that the freedom of speech is, I can come up to you and I don't like the shirt you got on. Okay, so I'm gonna cuss you out about it and then walk away and make it feel like it's okay. No. Or I can say what I want to say that's out of the realm of respect in a given situation that I'm covered. Now, if I want to sue your ass for saying something, you shouldn't have said to me or my family or my position, then I'm going to run behind the freedom of speech, because you can't put something against me because I was in that particular area. No. So can we talk about that? I know we got a lot to talk about, but can we just kind of elaborate on it? Maybe I did, but maybe I just want to hear you guys' opinion real fast on that. Anyway.
No, you're right on it, because I mean that was the whole point of freedom of speech, is the freedom to criticize the government, since we don't have a king, without being put to death or being jailed for stating your position. So that's all it means. It doesn't mean all this craziness of people, you can just say whatever hateful thing. Well, that's my freedom of speech. No. That's why you can't yell fire. Just indiscriminately, like, well, freedom of speech. No.
Well, I'd really like to ask Michael Johnson's wife, since she said God put him in that office, is what happened when he put Biden in office? Does that mean anything in that point?
Well, no, it doesn't mean.
I assume that he put Biden in office then.
It wasn't God.
So why are we having such an issue? I don't get it.
Sandy? Yep.
Well, I look forward to when God puts Trump in jail.
Exactly.
The thing you're talking about with freedom of speech is you can go up to someone and say, things that they disagree with, and that's freedom of speech. It doesn't mean that we like it, but I can tell someone, I don't like your dog, or I don't like the color of your house, or I don't like what your beliefs are. But what you can't do is then be in a position where you can say to someone, but you need to believe. You can say that, but they can go, no, I'm not going to believe what you will believe. That's all part of the religious freedom and stuff like that. Is I get my opinion, you get your opinion. We both get to express it. But in the end, we still get to have our opinion. You don't get to tell me how to believe.
Right.
You can disagree with the way I believe, but you don't get to tell me how to believe.
Just like you can't be an old wrinkled white woman yelling in the microphone to the reporter to shut up.
No, you can be because she did do it, and there is no law that says she can't do it. It's wrong. Right. And because she disagrees with the reporter, oh, well, we've got this new speaker and we should be happy about that. Yeah, but let's go back to who is he really that you've just elected? This was the guy that was the architect of the election denial. Right. Let's go back and this guy hasn't been vetted at all. Let's tell America who's now running the show as Speaker of the House.
But he promotes Christianity to the point of making it known that I am of my faith, and my faith rules everything that I say and do. Right. And the problem that I have with that is, if it boils down to that, it's time to start taxing the churches. Bump out the nonprofits, because there is no such thing as a nonprofit anything when you start promoting your religion. Right. Because I'm getting to the point now that needs to be just thrown over the cliff, because I feel some type of way. I listen. I was brought up in the church. I know of God. Now I serve Him differently than I do from the traditional sense, because I don't go into a church anymore. Right. But the facts are the facts. I do not put my faith over anybody that comes into my existence, because it's not of my belief to police your faith or your beliefs. Right. But my thing is, when you have the Speaker of the House who wants to put his belief overall over the law, then I have a problem with that as an American, because that tells me that y'all are pushing this into a totalitarian idea, because there is a such thing as a totalitarian or state or a government that is run by the church. We know of the Vatican now. I mean, and J.F. Kennedy was almost railroaded from being president because he was a Catholic. Right. Remember, he couldn't be president because he was a Catholic. Right. Same thing with Biden. Right. But that is my qualms for the night, because I feel like that is the conversation that needs to be had, because now we see what's going on over there in Israel and Palestine. When it boils down to tradition and to religion, there are two different situations going on where people are getting killed over ideologies, over one person's ideology, but it's just the fact that it's boiled on religion. So I'm asking y'all, isn't it really important that we get, as Americans, that we need to get on top of this type of situation before that comes over here?
Right. I'll say this. I know we got to move on to our other points today, but I will say this, is that if we don't get, as humanity, don't get a hold on what religion will destroy humanity. It will destroy humanity at the end of the day. And you see it happening right now. So if we don't get a hold on that idea as humans and start focusing on ways that we can come together and lay religion aside from the way we approach one another, it'll end up destroying humanity. That's in my collective opinion. But we could get into the reason why that could happen, because we do see it happening. It's all over some belief systems, and there are too many belief systems out here as a whole. But anyway, go ahead. We got to move on.
Well, let me just say this. JC said, Jesus Christ, do be leery of the church, for it may bear false prophets and not be kind to man. So if he says be leery of the church, what else do we need to say?
True.
And that's the man everybody's running to and putting in front. And he says even be leery of it.
So since we're still there in a minute, Sandy, and forgive me if I'm putting this in. So tell me, or tell us, and then this kind of brings another factor. How is the Jewish perspective on the way, from a teaching standpoint of view, on the way these situations are going on in life? What comes out of the synagogues and how to encourage this area of religious practice? How's that taught?
I wish I could be more definitive, but I'm kind of like Dylan. Yeah, I grew up and was bar mitzvahed, but I found a lot of this stuff isn't working for me, and I don't necessarily believe in it. I think there are some tenets that work for not only me, but for a lot of people. Can we be a good people? Can we be charitable? Can we help others and stuff like that? Should we not commit murder? Should we? But there are a lot of things that I go, and even in Judaism, you've got the Hasids, which are dressed in black, and they don't walk on the Sabbath, and they're very strict religion. And then you've got, then there were the Jews who went, well, that's too much. I'd like to do a little less. I'll be a conservative Jew. And then there were some that said, this conservatism is too much. I'll be a Reform Jew. And then there were some that I don't even want to be a Reform Jew, so I'm going to be something else. I don't even know what, but I can't speak to everybody or anything like that. But again, everybody finds what works for them. And that's what America is supposed to be. What works for me. And it shouldn't impact those around us in a negative way. And we should be able to coexist and go, you believe what you believe. I believe what I believe. I said, because I certainly don't believe with Mike Johnson. I don't believe your God made you speaker, let alone my God or any God. Right. But that's my belief. And if you want to believe that you're God, then you have to take that, extrapolate it to further. And you're right. What about then who made Biden president? Right. Who's going to put Trump in jail? Who's going to make him answer for his sins? And things like that. So I don't feel myself qualified to speak on that completely, except for trying to be decent people.
Right. And that should be the motive of any religion, whatever, if you want to consider it. I think it's just a motive of spirituality myself. You're a spiritual person. This should be the implication of that part. Donna, you have one to add on that? I know you have a good insight on that.
I was just sitting back thinking about this. So think about if in fact that was us here in the United States. And we were like, they used to be back in the day where you had to go to the king, you had to go to the queen and ask to speak freely. Right. Do you know how many people will be in line? Do you know how long it will take you to be able to say exactly what you want to say, and then by the time you got to the king or the queen, you don't forgot what you had to say. Right.
But you know what? We got to get ready for another break. A good historical point, and about how it is very good historical point about that. And there is a point where Catholicism reigns in between all of what you were just saying there. I mean, history about that. But let's go to the break. We'll pick this up. There's one more we're supposed to talk about today, y'all, but it's good. It's really good, very informative. Guys, see, you know how the flow happens? That's what you call being in the flow. Because this conversation, somebody needs to hear this tonight at the end of the day, especially in our country. All right, let's go to a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, and we are back, guys. I hope that you are really enjoying tonight's conversation because it is. It's really, really good here. Got some more nuggets we're going to drop on you in a second, but do want to remind you to get your mug, your truth behind the truth mug. All right, you can send an email and requesting your truth behind the truth mug. You can send that to our email at ttbttshow@gmail. Put your request in, and we will send you the mug. Free shipping. Or you can make sure that you're a part of our contest. Get a free mug, 10 likes and shares on any social media platform, and we will send you a mug out after we verify those as well to the same email address, ttbttshow@gmail. All right. So let's go ahead and dig back in. I was getting to the historical point real fast, and I'm gonna shut my mouth because y'all always talk about me talking. Anyway. The thing about what happened with the Catholic Church organization, typically in that time of year, even before the Americans came about, Catholic Church would go throughout the countryside. What they would do, this is where you have that situation with purgatory and all that, where the souls of the individual that died and what have you went to quote unquote purgatory. All right. So what happened was that they would go in these villages, okay, and there's a term called fleece the people or steal from the people by the propaganda and lie. So what they would do, they bring all of their monies and their goods, was a practice coming from the king, as you mentioned earlier, same practice, that they govern. So they would go in, and the priest was supposed to pray for them and pray the person out of the soul, pray their soul out of purgatory. So this is something they did all over the country of England, and people fell for that. So this particular behavior did roll over to the Protestant movement. Okay, that's another teaching, but I'm not going to get into that right now. But the same behaviors, we've seen these things have come on and down in history. But the true essence here is, where do you find yourself as a human being? Where do you find yourself as a human being? Then apply the spirituality of that. Now, we're not sitting here trying to tell you how you should believe. That's a different story. Okay, or what religion you want to practice in. But find yourself, know if you're going to be practicing something, know why you're doing it. And not just because somebody told you had to do it. Okay. Make sure you're in it for the reason that you want to be in it. I think Sandy stated that out very clearly, and all the rest of us tonight has said that particular point. Be in it because you want to be in it, and it's bringing liberty and life for your liberty and love for your life. And if you're not moving in love, then you don't need to be part of it in any way. Okay. Yeah. That's just it, But we got to go on. So we want to talk about some of these other,
Let's new class. Talk about the distraction right quick, okay. and I'm gonna let you go.
So many.
Wait a minute, hold on. I gotta tell y'all. Have y'all heard about this Britney Spears book? And then we're gonna just leave it for everything. I mean, have y'all read it or have y'all seen the excerpts to it? Okay, let me get this together right quick, y'all. This thing went number one. It has now they're gonna turn it into a movie soon. Okay. Did y'all know Justin Timberlake ran out of the country because everybody has now thrown death threats at him? They have canceled. They say they're about to cancel this NSYNC tour.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, I didn't catch up. Shit, elaborate on that.
Well, from what I got from the book is the fact that he told Britney to get an abortion. Now, y'all know down south they are dead against abortions. They and then on top of that, for him to enforce the abortion because it would mess up his career and her career. That was the biggest no-no and the biggest sin that could ever happen. Now, I'm not the biggest Justin Timberlake fan because of the Janet Jackson debacle. I will admit, after that tip was exposed and he apologized and got his Grammy and she apologized and her career went downhill, I kind of felt some type of way and I was praying for his downfall. I ain't gonna lie, truth behind the truth, I prayed for it. And this was the catalyst that broke the camel's back. I'm just saying the book helped galvanize his downfall. Okay. Now, I'm just saying this book, I might have to get in there and read it and let y'all know what I take from it. But it's becoming to be a big deal right now. So that's my little moment of distraction from what we're talking about. But so
if you okay, just kind of stay on your little wave of distraction. Okay. And a very good point. And in all seriousness, what we've been discussing tonight is a very serious and thought-provoking topic. Where we were, but people avoid the thought-provoking topic to run to the distraction of the Britney Spears issues or whatever issues, whatever issues that are out there. So here's the question though. So how do we help people stop running for the distraction? Because they're going to be distracted tonight. They're going to go home one day and they're going to open the door and they're going to be there. because you've been distracted so much about what's going on in these celebrity lives and all this other type of stuff. But I'm not saying, okay, if you get a joy out of knowing what's going on, okay, great, celebrate yourself. But don't celebrate yourself to the point that you don't know what's going on in your own life, okay? Because rest assured, if something happened in your home apartment, you cannot go to Beyonce's $200,000 mansion on Malibu Beach and say, come here because I need a place to stay. All right, it's not happening, okay? So why would you want to be so consumed to what Jay-Z and Beyonce is buying for themselves? Your quest should be trying to figure a way to get you a $200,000 mansion on Malibu Beach. Okay, that should be your quest. At the end of the day, and let the bragging be about yourself. But anyway, anybody else about the distraction?
Go ahead, Arnold. Go ahead.
Okay. Distractions have their place. I mean, all these things is like when life is getting too stressful from trying to pay the bills and trying to do this, and your husband ain't acting right, wife ain't acting right, kids acting a dang fool. Celebrity gossip is like, ooh, it's an escape. But there's a difference between the escape for the moment and then being obsessed with it and so involved with it that you're not taking care of what needs to be taken care of. Right. So it's kind of like that balance.
Right.
In everything that we do, was in moderation in all things. Right. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, but then you go over here and you handle your business. Those people who work too hard, but they don't have any diversions. Those people who play too hard, they don't have any work. It's all about finding that balance. And it's like, okay, that was cute. Now back to life. Go ahead, Charles. Back to you in the studio.
I know, right? Thank you, there, Parnell. I'm basically going to say what you said, Parnell. We need a happy medium. I'm all for watching what Jay-Z bought this week, and how Beyonce has sold out the concerts and all. And like you said, we need a break from that everyday, that mundane, in the mud, in the swamp stuff, because it can drive you crazy. A lot of folks have said, and I get people tell me this all the time, I don't watch the news because it makes me so sad. My thing is, okay, now what are you going to do to make it better? Don't just sit there and get lost in the whirlwind, and you don't understand that there are other things that can go. When people tell me all the time, they go, well, why are you so into politics? And I always tell them, it's because politics rules our lives. Right. You wear a seatbelt because of politics. You stop at that red light because of politics. You go to the hospital and they fill out some forms because of politics. Your life is based on what the politics are. And until you contribute or be a part of it, it will always run you. And that's not the way it was established. It was established for the people, by the people. And until we understand that we have that power, we're never going to be able to get out of this whirlwind. But we got to also remember, life can't be that serious. We're only here for a snap of a finger. Right. So you got to enjoy some of it. Have some fun. Watch an old Buddy Hackett movie. Do something that just tickles your gut. Make things, more reasonable. Don't always get caught up in the seriousness, because we aren't here very long, and I'm the one to testify. Stress almost took me out of here. I had a heart attack and died on a table. They thought they weren't going to bring me back. And my doctor said, you're stressed out. A nagging ass wife, a bunch of kids growing up, a job that didn't give a damn about me. All it was a number. And then I'm trying to live up to the American dream. That stress can sometimes swelter in you and take you out of here. So until we learn to get a balance, like as Parnell said, and not take everything so seriously, but stop and smell the roses.
Absolutely.
If we don't, man, we'll miss out on a lot.
Absolutely.
Charles, truth behind the truth. All right, Darnell.
Darnell.
You on mute.
It was just, I was getting a weird robotish sound.
Okay. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
So for me, I'm a person where I feel like distractions could be good and they can be bad. Now, there's those distractions as which we were stating now. But I think lately, a lot of the distractions that they have been putting out in the media and putting out has been to detour our minds from what's actually going on behind the scene, per government, per science, per all of those things. And the normal person who's caught up in those things, they're the people who were not going out to vote. They're the people who don't know who their Congress is. Those are the people who don't. So that it's kind of put in place for those people to not go and be educated on the things that are going on. So when the time comes for the important thing like November, they don't know who you don't know who you're going out to vote for, so you're not going to vote.
Right, exactly. That to me, that's the key element about the distraction, because it does, it keeps them from away from the true policies of life. And I agree with everybody having that balance and understanding that balance, but don't lose the focus of where you need to be going in your decisions about your life because you've been in those distractions. Sandy, go ahead. You got it. Oh, you have one more. Go ahead, Darnell.
So I have a question for you guys, and it's something that it was strange to me. So I know everyone has seen the circulation of Oprah and The Rock, with the whole Maui thing. So my question for you guys is this: as rich as these people are, rich, we talking about rich, and Oprah, she got enough money to take care of all of us for the rest of our lives and our children's lives too.
Right.
Why in the holy hell are you turning around, getting on with him, pairing up, talking about the fact of getting donations for Maui?
It's an insult for any.
It's a distraction. That's the distraction.
It's an insult because they weren't the only ones. I can go down into the Z list. How can you be the wife of a rapper trying to get a bodyguard who so happened to get locked up in Dubai? You asking fans to donate or do a GoFundMe account to get this man out of jail, out of Dubai, which I think is ridiculous. Wow. And Tiny, that's who I'm talking about, from T.I.'s wife. Okay. But the fact is that these rich people are asking people who are out here suffering to pay their bills, who are having a hard time for money. That's an insult. But
So to your point about I think the Maui situation, it's really hard to say what these people of wealthy means should and should not do, because we're looking at it from a different perspective, and it's really hard because the fairness in it. I mean, okay, so Darnell, you know me, whatever, we buds, things like that, and you're in a complete prosperous position, so I'm going to team up with you. But hey, Darnell, I ain't gonna use all my money to help these people. Let me get you involved, so I'm not, or whatever. But it's like we expect them to do more than what we're willing to do our individual selves, simply because we assume that they have the means to be able to do that.
But they don't pay taxes.
Well, some do, but that's a whole other situation. Oh, but and then being in wealth is a business. At the bottom line, that's another business. Wealth is another business, and managing that, how you continue to manage your wealth and how you just stay prosperous and all those type of things. That's another educational piece.
To invade the tax man, keep it moving. That's the business. To invade the tax man.
Well, we know how that happens. Bury your wife on your golf course and call it a cemetery. But we won't go there about evading taxes for that.
Lord.
Okay.
Right.
But you got a point there. So, but at the end of the day, it's really difficult to say what they should be doing, because I think that for the most part, they're not going to publicly say, "Well, I'm giving $10 million." Now, The Rock did say he was giving that time money to the SAG, to support the actors that were down. Hey, I'm like, go for it. Do we balance it out between what happened in Maui? Do we say that the actors should be suffering, or is the Maui situation worse, or whatever the case may be? You have actors that can't pay their bills, they're rid of whatever the case may be. So,
you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me when you go to the gas station, the guy go, "Brother, can I have $1?" And you go, "What?" And you go, you buying this, you can't spare $1. So you're gonna tell me how to do my money?
Right.
And you can't tell nobody what to do with their money.
Right.
It's just how that is, and you can't count everybody's dollars. Some things are good on the surface, ain't as good on the bottom or on the inside. So we can't get caught up in that because you got a new car, you can afford to give me some money. I told the guy when he asked me for $1, give me $1, damn it. My damn rent's due. So you can't get too caught up in trying to count that.
Well, I'm about to sound like a Trumper. If they can give Ukraine money, they could give us some money. I'm just saying. Go ahead.
Okay. So I feel like Oprah and Rock got a bad rap on that, because they did put $5 million each of their own money into it. Now, if they hadn't put any money into it, then yes, rake them over the coals. But they started that fund out with $10 million. And their whole thing is like, we always talk about, we're American, we support each other in times of trouble. So you're like, okay, here we are. We're going to get the ball started. No, they more than got the ball. $10 million is more than getting the ball started.
Right.
They really, if other people would have pitched in something, because they didn't say you got to put in $5 million. If all you had was $1 to send, that's all you got is $1. If you got $1,000 and you can spare that, spare $1,000.
Right.
But the fact is, Americans were hurting.
That's true.
And they asked Americans to pitch in to help fellow Americans in a time of need. And what they got, and they got their asses chewed out.
Right.
And so I'm just like going, well, then I ain't never gonna do shit for y'all again.
Right.
They just
every time I try to help, somebody has got a complaint.
Right.
Oh, she's showing off because she gave all that money.
Right.
Oh, that's all they're gonna give?
Right.
They're a billionaire.
I'm like, they just had a luncheon up there in Montecito where they raised billions of dollars. Kevin Costner and them just had an event. So I don't know why they asked.
Right.
They could have did a lunch.
Go ahead, Sandy. Get you one. We're going to break.
I'm with you guys pretty much on this. Parnell's right. You know, they started a fund. They put in money. Who are we to tell them, oh, you got to put in more, you got to pay for everything? I mean, you know, that wiped out Maui, billions and billions. Nobody has that kind of money.
Right.
It's going to take a collective effort. But that story is now on the back burner as we've had, you know, Ukraine used to be at the front. Now it's in the back. Then you've got the shooting in Maine, and no sooner has that come and gone, and people are just starting to wrap their head around what happened, and there's a shooting in Florida, and then you've got Maui, and then you've got these other storms, and then they're starving in Europe, and there's not enough rain, and I mean, and there's climate, and then the people like Mike Johnson, there's no climate problem. It's fine. The earth is fine. And you go, well, you know, look, I look forward to when one day the sea level rises and washes away Mar-a-Lago, and that's it. And I go, why do we want to be mad at Oprah or anybody trying to help another human being? Because and it's that from Wicked, there's that saying, no good deed goes unpunished. Right. You know, so if you're walking down the street and someone asks Charles for $1 and you give him $1, you say, well, could I have two? You know, I didn't give it, you know, it's terrible. And I go walking every morning and there's a guy in a wheelchair, and 4 or 5 years ago, I tried to help him get across the street and give him a few bucks. And then he started yelling at me, I need more than this. I don't push so fast across the street with my wheelchair. I'm going too fast here. And I go, wow. Sorry, I even stopped to help you at all.
Wow.
And now I just avoid him. And go ahead, Darnell, what?
No, I was just going to say to JB, you remember a few weeks ago, I was telling you that we had this charity event that me and Jonathan, we were part of the organization in Washington, and then we decided to join the ones here in California. So it's funny that you say that, because we did our normal donation that we always do, or whatever the case may be. So it come back to us that they stated, well, due to the fact that it wasn't enough for California.
What? Wow.
The song that y'all did, that y'all normally do, isn't enough for California. You're the same caliber people.
Wow.
Right, and then you got someone like Donald Trump.
So it's one of this. It's just like you say. It's no matter what you do, you're just pretty damn for. You damned if you do, and you damned if you don't. You don't. Right. You know.
And Donald Trump wants to tell us how rich he is, and yet he wants to raise money from everybody else to pay his legal bills instead of going, hey, asshole, you're the one got yourself in trouble and broke as many fucking laws as you could, and now you want the sheep that follow you to pay your expenses. I mean, you know, and then you want to get.
But my whole thing is like to your point, Sandy, and then you go. It's like I said last week. These groups of people have ran into the Jim Jones syndrome. I mean, really, how can you even remotely, feel comfortable about sending somebody? This is where I don't get it. I'm and I know we're trying to. Hey, if you're out there listening and you're a Trump supporter, contact us because we want to talk to your ass. Okay, but really. I mean, for this insane way of thinking, because and for the majority of these people that I know that the few that I've had a slight conversation with, they live their life by these sound bites, which is the worst thing. Conspiracy theories and sound bites is where they live their life by. They don't have factual truth about anything, and then when you present the truth behind the truth to them, they don't want to believe it. They're trying to say that you're lying. Well, How in the hell can I be lying? And this is an absolute true, proven fact. You know, so I'm just supporting what you're saying. It's like, where are these? What I don't know where these people were born from. It's amazing to me. I would have never thought in my life that they would be that way. You know, at the end of the day. Good.
Well, I think we should all aspire to be Mother Teresa, President Carter, Michael Jackson, and Jesus Christ. Okay. I'm not trying to promote my religion, but even Jesus didn't ask for no money. He had 2 fish, was it 2 loaves of bread and 5 fish, and he multiplied that. I'm just saying, I mean, if you, like Mike Johnson, whoever you pray to, if you have enough of that in you, you shouldn't be asking for no money. You should be knowing that your faith will carry you through. I'm just saying. I mean, if you are a believer in whatever faith, you should be asking for no money. You should be asking the higher power to give you a blessing.
So in Donald Trump's case, he should have a Big Mac, 2 Big Macs, separate them, see if he can feed.
Yeah, you don't need to be asking nobody for no money. Shoot, you got President Carter out there building homes and doing whatever he needs to do, and he ain't asking nobody for anything. Yeah. And that man is 130 years old.
Hey, if we stick to the narrative of the night, you're broke because God wanted you to be broke.
Amen.
This is how that works.
Yes. You said it. Hit the hammer on the nail with that one, Charles. Truth behind the truth. God wanted you to be broke. Amen.
Hey, before we go, remind everybody tonight we got to set our clocks back.
Yes, please do.
Yes,
definitely. But yeah, guys,
and if you don't like the conversation, then set your clock back to 1978.
When gas was really bad. I'm just saying, really bad.
1978.
Yes, Lord.
Well, guys, this has been a good night. I mean, you know, really in terms of the joyfulness of the conversation, but yet the truth behind the truth in it. We do hope you do find yourself in this conversation somewhere. Maybe it's related in religion, it's related in love, it's related in wherever your positions on politics. Okay, whether you are an extreme to the right or are you partially to the left or whatever the case may be, find a happy medium that you can support your life. We're not telling you to be Democrat or Republican. I'd be scared if you're a Republican, but that's another story. But you know, find your peace in it, okay? But don't be a Mike Johnson. Don't be a Donald Trump.
Be like an Oprah and run with it. Okay, you better run on.
But wherever you find yourself in that, okay, you know, make that to be your support for your life and your well-being. All right. Hey, it's been a great fellas. It's good to see you tonight. We're gonna look like for a more lively conversation like this next week. We're gonna dig into something else more that challenges you guys to see the white supremacists. We want you. We're coming after you. I told you. So we want you to come on so we can talk to you. All right. Sandy, Donnell,
we'll dig up 2 or 3.
Charles. Hey, we love you guys. Thank you for being here. Hey, it's been a great night. Thank you for tuning into The Truth Behind the Truth. We will see you next week. Same time, same place. All right. Bye-bye.
Peace.